ARIA Hall of Fame singer-songwriter Brian Cadd has this month released his first solo album in over a decade. Entitled Bulletproof, it takes us back to the 1970s and the pure rock and roll sound of Brian Cadd and the Bootleg Family Band. And I'm very pleased to say that Brian Cadd joins us now on Connected. How are you, mate?
I'm terrific. I'm fabulous.
Wonderful.
I've not done many of these Skype interviews. They're so fun, aren't they?
Well, you can be sitting at home in the fluffy slippers and that, mate, we wouldn't know.
I know, and I'm not telling you either.
I tell you what astounded me was that you've clocked up this year 50 years in the business. That's
right, and perhaps even more importantly, from a personal point of view, 70 years on Earth. So it seems that there were two really good reasons to release an album called Bulletproof, wouldn't you think?
Well, I would think so. And I'll tell you what, one of those songs that, you know, the lyrics talking about it, you know, overnight successes and it takes a long time to actually achieve that. It couldn't be a better song for the album either.
No, and that's sort of turned out to be the lead track. I think there's a video of us shooting that, of us recording that, that's out on YouTube and on my site and stuff. And it's a good thing to watch because the song talks about exactly that, how it's been for 50 years. But B, it gives you a real good idea of how we recorded the album, shows you where and how it was, which was quite unique for this day and age, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, what also surprised me was the actual sound of this album. It's very much like a recording at a live concert gig.
It is, and there's a reason for it. And the reason was very intentional. When we decided to do this, because it was a 40th anniversary of us being together, we wanted to kind of recapture what we were like on stage, because over those years I got to be known for Ginger Man and Let Go and Little Ray of Sunshine and stuff like that, which was fabulous. But people thought of me more of a balladeer storyteller. But when we went out on the road with this amazing band, it was much more rock and roll. It was loud and raucous and lady singers and all kinds of stuff. So as a result of that, the conscious effort was for us to try and recapture the energy of on stage, but in the studio.
And was it another reason too why you invited guest performers onto the album as well?
Yeah, although some of them invited themselves. It was really we loved it. I mean, once the word went round that there was that, you know, movement at the station, so to speak. You know, people would just call and say, you know, listen, just if you need me to do anything, I'll be around. And it got to be we recorded in a big warehouse in Melbourne, and so we could actually sit all in one room or stand all in one room, and that was very 70s. That was, and we only gave ourselves 3 takes of any song. So there's a sort of a desperation or positive tension, you might say, particularly from the drummer all the way through the album. You can actually hear it. It really works well. And you know, often people just arrive for no reason. So I just sort of come and have a look, you know, and pretty soon they've strapped a guitar on or they've taken a harmonica out of their bag and off they go. And I love that because that also was very representative of that era where people really played on each other's albums all the time.
And it was a bit like a big jam session, wasn't it?
It did get to be that way. I mean, on the clip that you can see, there's Wilbur's there with, you know, his glorious shorts and thongs, looking every minute the pin-up boy. And the song, the solo that you see in the clip is actually the one on the record. It was that kind of casual, and he wasn't standing anywhere particular. It was just somewhere where somebody put a mic and he stood there.
Yeah.
So a lot of that sort of atmosphere really works in this album, I think.
You've also included songs that you've written for other performers as well. Is that a bit of a case of, like, you know, I guess it's hard when you write a song not being able to crack it yourself?
Well, that was really a big drive for so much of this. It was about the fact that we were... I'd written those songs specifically for those other people. You know, the Joe Cocker one, Still Can't Believe It's True. And I wrote the Love Is Like a Rolling Stone for the Pointers, and I wrote Yesterday Dreams for Bonnie, and they were specifically for them. I didn't write them for me, and then they found them. And years later, you know, I got to the point where I thought, you know, at some point I'd really like to have a go at these because I know I'd like to do them, and they really do suit me. So when we started putting songs on the table to consider, I just threw them on with everything else. And we recorded a lot of songs, over 20 songs. And we finished up 12 that we loved. And they were not only because they were possibly the best recordings, but they fitted together as a sort of a unified thing. And I'm so happy that those 3 songs worked and they finished up on the album.
Yeah. Why has it taken over a decade, though, to get another album from you?
Oh, most of the guys had to be gotten out on parole, and we make a deal with the correction officers. No, life got in the way. I made an album called Quietly Rusting 11 years ago. It seems impossible for it to be that long. And in the meantime, I've been touring with Shorik and touring with Russell and touring by myself. I've been in Nashville and recorded a whole bunch of stuff over there, written songs, and lived in Paris for a while. And just, one of those things that happens. And all of a sudden it got to be 40 years. And the anniversary was sort of too important not to begin. I suppose I would have made an album of some sort, around about now. But, the impetus was the anniversary, which, of course, is not now because it took over a year to make. So we've gone with my 50th and my 70th. So.
Well, mate, let's hope it's not another decade before we see another release from you as well.
Oh, it'll be a very quiet album if it is.
Look, thank you so much for joining us on Connected, and we wish you all the very best for the forthcoming tours around Australia.
Thank you so much as well.
Thank you. Brian Cadd joining us there. And the Bootleg family album, the Bulletproof album, is now released through MGM. So make sure you get onto Brian's website to check all the details, briancadd.com. And incidentally too, Brian will be touring around Australia. Check out that website again for his touring dates around Queensland. That's briancadd.com.